We are back with yet another Twitter analysis, Twitter breakdown, but it's also a mixture of a bed bucking video. Now, I thought I could bypass this individual, but y'all ain't gonna let me get a lick of sleep or rest until I go in or talk about this individual who some of you may or may not know unless you are on Twitter, by the name of Xaviaer DuRousseau. It sounds French. That name sounds very French, especially that last name. And this individual, we know right off the bat, wouldn't qualify for reparations. But of course, like everybody else who doesn't qualify, and even some of those brain dead Negroes who do qualify, got to throw their little rusty 2 cents into the fire or into the ring and give their take on why black people, or black Americans in particular, should not get reparations or get that $5 million, more so stemming off of what's been going on in San Francisco. So this Xaviaer individual said on March 18, 2023, which is the day before I recorded this video, which is March 19, 2023. He said black Americans are not the only demographic to endure injustices throughout history. No one is entitled to $5 million because their ancestors suffered. America continuously gives black people more privileges. Some of us choose to succeed while others choose to play the victim. I swear, if you close your eyes and you didn't know what this Xaviaer individual looked like, you would swear this came out of the mouth of a white supremacist, until they got to that point where they said some of us. So we're going to break this down. And the thing is, like I said, it is not hard to break down this type of stuff because it's so easy to debunk. Reason being, because he's not saying anything different than your typical Dub S says all the time. The same way that you break that down is the same way you break them down. So let's start at the beginning. Black Americans are not the only demographic to endure injustices throughout history. Nobody says black Americans were the only ones. You made that statement. But I know where he's headed with that. He's basically saying stop being spoiled, or thinking that the world revolves around you and you should work hard. He's another one of those work hard type of people, as you saw by the last statement he made. And that's a statement that you'll find a lot of like foreign migrant immigrant individuals of the diaspora, the non-FBA ones. And he definitely falls into that category. He said no one is entitled to $5 million because their ancestors suffered. It's not just from the suffering. It's what is owed. They promised 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get that. I find it very interesting that they don't talk about the money or the reparations that the slave owners got when they lost property, aka our ancestors. They never bring that up. I mean, we'll always bring up about stuff that other groups have gotten over the years because that's heavily documented, but they don't like to talk about the slave owners and the slave masters that got compensated for quote unquote loss of free labor. Because the land had to be worked on somehow, some way, and since they didn't have the labor anymore, the free labor, if they didn't get the money to keep it going, all of that work would have just died. Which, honestly, if it was left up to me, it would have died. But people like this Xaviaer and his others of his ilk never ever bring that up. He goes on to say America continuously gives black people more privileges. Where? Please point that out to me. Because I swear, if he's trying to talk about welfare, that's another talking point that PC loves to use. And again, welfare, government assistance is not conducive to only black people. As a matter of fact, black people aren't even the most people on welfare. I thought we talked about this when I had to call out Kenny Zoo again. Black people are not the highest recipient percentage wise when it comes to those who are on welfare. It is white people. I don't know why people can't get that through their heads. I'm telling you, that's why they say the media is evil. The media is the one that perpetuates all this stuff out here, which is it makes them draw from that to make these asinine conclusions. But on the flip side, these people are stupid because they fall for anything the media tells them when it comes to black people. But when it comes to anybody else, oh, we got to do our research because you don't believe everything the media says. But when it comes to us, the media just has to be right. Then he says, some of us choose to succeed. So is he trying to imply that we don't? This guy clearly doesn't know how systemic racism works. And I'm telling you, this is just one tweet, and we're only going over this one tweet. You can see his page, and you'll find that it's a shrine, yet again, another shrine that plays up just like how this tweet is presented. Then finishes it off, while others choose to play the victim. So it's basically when he said, while some of us choose to succeed, he's talking about people most likely non-FBA, because FBA has literally been the punching bag for many over the years, especially as of recent. Then finishes off while saying, while others choose to play the victim, he's talking about us. See, that was too easy to break down. But he does it for clicks and views. And most of the people in the 40 quotes, those who are black for the most part, are the ones going against him. Anyone else are the ones applauding him. And trust me, it's not that many others in those quoted tweets or in these replies agreeing with anything he says. So he's just throwing stuff out there to see what sticks. I wanted to show this right here. This is his bio. It has a picture of a cross. It says, you're allowed to disagree. Then he puts the American flag, even though I doubt he's American, but whatever. He says, ex-BLM activist, Instagram name, PragerU personality, PhD in gaslighting. This says, this part right here says a whole lot, but we're going to get to that. PragerU. What if I told y'all? If any black person, whether they are FBA or non-FBA, is attached to PragerU, they are a boot-licking Sambo and a Sambet for the women. You have that Amala Ekpunobi. She's attached to PragerU. You have that, what's his face? The little light-skinned boy that, be hanging out with Kyle Rittenhouse. He is part of PragerU. And now you got this guy. I mean, once is okay, maybe it's just once. Twice is a coincidence. 3 times is a pattern. Now, I don't know what category that one who be with Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't know if he's FBA or not, but I do know that Amala Ekpunobi and this Xavier dude are not. And remember what Dennis Prager, the CEO of PragerU, said when it came to slavery. And look at what this Xavier dude tweeted. Yeah, that says a lot. And look at what Amala always be talking about. Again, it says a lot. With that other one that be hanging out with Kyle Rittenhouse, what he be saying, they literally are in one big giant echo chamber where all they do is just talk to each other and they all say the same thing. It's just that they're wearing different faces. It's the same exact thing. And I found it interesting. He said he's an ex-BLM activist. Didn't she used to be a quote unquote leftist before she saw the light and went to the right to grift so she could get paid? Candace Owens falls into that same category where she was a quote unquote leftist, but then she saw the light and went to the right to get paid and grift. Notice many of them have the same story. They never start out where they are now. They kind of test the waters up on the other side to see if they can get paid over there. And if they don't get paid over there, then if they get paid very little, then they grift over to the other side. This to me is all an act. But act or not, it is very treasonous and should be dealt with and treated as such. Then he said PhD in gaslighting. That's really what he did in that tweet, was gaslight. Which means that tells you all you need to know about him as a person and his social media presence. That's all he does. He said he didn't say he has a degree in gaslighting. He didn't say he had a master's in gaslighting. He said, I have a PhD. Throw a doctor in front of his name. That's what he loves to do. So that basically tells me a lot of the stuff that he tweets, he doesn't even mean it. He just does it to rile people up. That's a sad, pathetic life to live, if you ask me. So I actually came across this post right here that actually gathered some tweets together from this same Xavier person that dates back to 2021. So here's one from December, and they're going to be out of order a little bit. This one says, I will not stop speaking on black crime. So if you can't peep it, they probably put his name and put crime in bold in the search bar to see what he was going to say. He said, I will not stop speaking on black crime. Police shootings are not the only times that black lives should matter. BLM is a scam. Police brutality is a media ploy. Again, if you close your eyes, you will swear Dub S wrote this. Now, keep in mind, he said he's an ex-BLM activist. I'm trying to figure out when did he stop being one, just so I can know when did his grift kick in. Let's move on to the next because it's actually 4 of them. This one is from December 29, 2022. He said the revolutionary at Real Candace O, which is Candace Owens, and the fact that he called her a revolutionary is just a slap in the face to those who are actually revolutionaries, and revolutionary and Candace Owens do not even belong in the same sentence. He said, once said that white supremacy and white nationalism wouldn't make the top 100 list of issues currently facing black Americans. I'll gladly start that list if any of you would like to chime in. And of course it cuts off right there. No one wants to see that list because I bet you it's a bunch of BS, just like the previous tweet and just like the tweet he posted that we went over that led to this part of the discussion right here. July 12, 2022. He said if police officers truly wanted to eliminate black people, then all they would have to do is stop fighting crime in black communities. Violent black on black crime and heart disease will take us out long before anyone else has the chance to. Well, he got the heart disease part right. I'm actually surprised he put that in there because heart disease is actually the #1 killer of black people. But black on black crime is not. But he had to slip black on black crime in there because, well, that's the main issue. It's something called proximity crime. I just did a video about an Asian and south of the border gang members that went and terrorized an Asian-owned establishment. Where is Xavier to talk about the 2 Asian men that committed those mass shootings in Half Moon Bay and Monterey Park out there in California, where most of, if not all of the victims were Asian, whether they are deceased or not? What about that one, even though this wasn't on Asian crime, but we'll throw it in there, that Asian guy who went and committed not 1 but 2 shootings outside of a synagogue? I mean, there's so many to pull from, but he wants to focus on so-called black on black crime because that's the meal of the day. I swear they can't keep their names out of our mouths. And to those out there who are non-FBA, this is your tether right here. Granted, not all of you earn that title or are deserving of that title, but this one right here is the perfect example of one. Now, there's one more tweet. November 26, 2021. He said, if BLM Incorporated put half that energy that they use in defending Kyle Rittenhouse's attackers into combating black on black crime, that's the 3rd time he's mentioned that, we'd see dramatically less mass incarceration. Fact, black people kill more black people every 6 months than the KKK did in 90 years. Where's the outrage? Again, another so-called stat that he pulled from White Mommy and White Daddy, White Zaddy, from their files to put on to black people. Again, this guy is not even a foundational black American, but he has so much to say about us as if he's so much better. This is who needs a wake-up call. How he gets it and when he gets it, I really don't care as long as it happens. Hopefully, preferably this year. Now, this is a tweet right here from PragerU, the same company he's attached to. It was posted July 11, 2021. It says young people are enamored with anti-racist rhetoric because they think they are fighting racist systems in America. The truth is they are fighting America itself and the very values the country was founded on. You know how they say a broke clock could be right twice a day? Here's an example right here. Now, the crazy thing about this tweet is that it was posted, as you can clearly see, but it got deleted shortly after it was posted, but not fast enough before someone was able to screenshot it. You know why they deleted this? Because this isn't the PragerU way. They had a glitch in the matrix and someone put this out there. This is not something that PragerU would post. What I just read from you or read to you from that Xaviaer creep is more the PragerU way. Whatever Amala Ekpunobi puts out there is PragerU. Whatever that Rotten House sidekick puts out there, that's PragerU. Anything Candace Owens puts out there, and to my knowledge, I don't think she's attached to PragerU, or at least she might have some. Anything she puts out there, that's PragerU. That's the PragerU way, not this. But it was deleted, but not before someone got a screenshot of it and put it out there and held on to it and made sure to highlight that last part, because that's not something Dennis Prager would approve of being posted. But yeah, I just wanted to go through that and show y'all that there's a new, yet again, another Sambo on the block who can't get their wake-up call soon enough.